Grateful to the Shadow Foreign Secretary for giving way. It may be the case that Conservatives didn't cover this issue in our manifesto, but at least we didn't elect a leader who views Hamas and Hezbollah as his friends.
I think it's important, when debating this matter, to debate it seriously and to raise serious matters before us. And I'm surprised at the tone that the Honourable Lady introduces. I have to say that if she wants to continue to use the Linton Crosby style of politics in this place, I have to say that it is discredited, outdated, and doesn't work. And surely it's better to actually engage on the substance of this. And the point that I am making today is that the Conservative Party at the last general election did not mention the Middle East, did not mention Palestine and Israel, and I'm coming on in my speech to wonder why that is and to put forward a few explanations. Yes, I will.
The Shadow Foreign Secretary is very dismissive of her leader's description of Hamas and Hezbollah as friends. I have to say to her, a great deal of my constituents, many of whom are Jewish, are deeply worried and troubled by the prospect that someone that aspires to be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom should describe those two Jew-hating terrorist organisations as his friends. And I would welcome the opportunity for the Shadow Foreign Secretary to withdraw on behalf of the Labour Party. Those comments have caused so much upset and offence in the community.
I think that one way that we could approach this is by looking at the truth of the situation, which is that the leader of my party wishes to, in order to engage people in peace, to bring people together and to try to get them to discuss matters, because it is only through discussion and it is only through agreement that one can get pace and that one can get progress. And if it's, let me just finish the point that I'm making before the Honourable Gentleman jumps up and down. Please, if we would just calm down a little. So the point that I'm making is this, is that I'm sure that if the Honourable Gentleman has some good ideas in terms of what the future of a peace process in Israel and Palestine might look like, it may be that he will get a letter from the Leader of the Opposition asking him up to the second floor of Norman Shaw South, and he can discuss it with him. He is quite happy to discuss the issue of peace and ideas that people have. So if I can go back to the point that I was making, and I'll make a little more progress. Whilst perhaps messages are sent out to Linton Crosby for a different script than the ones that we've had so far. So I've got to say that I drafted my section of the Labour manifesto. So why did the Foreign Secretary trust someone else to draft his? We cannot overturn decades of established British foreign policy upheld by successive governments from both parties just because this pathetic government is happy to play patsy to Donald Trump.
Very, very grateful for finally the Shadow Foreign Secretary to give way. But I can assure her that if her right honourable friend, the Leader of the Opposition, if he has anything to say about Israel-Hamas, he can do it when he visits my constituency of Hendon tomorrow, where I have the second largest Jewish community in the country, and I'm sure they have plenty of questions to ask him. But what I want to know from the Shadow Foreign Secretary, which has been made very clear today, is, as according to her manifesto, which she wrote, that you will recognise the state of Palestine immediately. Yes or no?
If the Honourable Gentleman will take his seat, relax, listen to the rest of my speech. I'm getting to that at the later stage of my speech.
Now, I hoped earlier today that I would actually receive a confirmation from the Shadow Foreign Secretary, but no answer came from her about their position upon this issue. So I asked the Shadow Foreign Secretary yes or no, and she failed to answer. So, unilateral actions to recognise the state of Palestinian before an agreement has been reached in direct talks between Israel and the Palestinian Authority directly harm the peace process and the possibility of a lasting two-state solution. I am going to extend the same courtesy to the Honourable Lady and say no thank you. Unilateralism is a rejection of the peace process, not a means to revive it. So I am very grateful that the Minister has made it very clear today that the commitment from this government and the Conservative Party, whose actions speaks louder than words, that we reject a Palestinian recognition before the peace talks. We confirm that we will continue to support the Oslo Agreement, as anything else would reject that. And we will continue our endeavours in this government and in the Conservative Party to assist in the creation of a two-state solution so both countries, Palestine and Israel, can live in peace side by side.
Point of order, Emily Thornberry.
Just briefly, I did make it perfectly clear what Labour's position is. It's in the manifesto. We think that the state of Palestine should be recognised. I answered it in my speech. I don't understand what the gentleman's problem is, and it's such a shame he didn't take my intervention.
Yes, well, I think that might be called a point of frustration or alternatively a point of explanation, but I'm afraid we'll have to leave it there.